Star Wars, Not Another Jedi Movie by Robert Roy. A long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. A vast sea of stars serves as a backdrop for the main title, followed by a roll-up which crawls up into infinity. Star Wars, Not Another Jedi Movie. It is a troubling time for the Republic. The taxation of trade routes has led to the blockade of the small planet of Naboo. Obviously, the most interesting thing going on is the discussion of taxation. That's pretty troubling in and of itself. So, to spice things up, the Chancellor of the Senate has dispatched Jedi Knight Obi-Wan Kenobi in lieu of a qualified candidate. If you want someone's arm chopped off, send a Jedi. But outside of rapid limb removal, their negotiation skills are somewhat limited. Opinions are mixed on whether the Chancellor chose this path because he'd gone senile, perhaps on the added stress of the bureaucrats blocking his every attempt to achieve anything practical in the Senate, or whether he'd just got blasted one night with a bunch of Jedi Knights. Something about uttering the phrase, "Who will rid me of this turbulent Viceroy?" was mentioned, but just in passing. Exterior, space, Naboo orbit. The small planet of Naboo is surrounded by a blockade of Trade Federation starships. A shuttle approaches the lead ship. Interior, Republic shuttle. The pilot and co-pilot of the shuttle are seated at the controls of the shuttle, performing tasks to land it in their landing bay. Obi-Wan is seated in the passenger area. We're on final approach now. I have informed the Viceroy that the ambassador has arrived. The pilot made sure to emphasize the word ambassador with a very visible quote mark gesture. What's with the air quotes? Oh, like you're a real ambassador now? Appointed by the Chancellor himself? I'll bet. Now what's that supposed to mean? Since when do they teach negotiation in Jedi training? You're here to force a settlement between the two parties, right? Exactly. But we're not really talking about binding arbitration here, are we? With the Jedi, forcing settlement is more along the lines of a death threat. We prefer to call it aggressive negotiations. Yeah, and I prefer to call my dinner a steak rather than slaughtered animal carcass, but I'm under no illusion that they're not the same thing. Just land the shuttle. You're the boss. Interior, Federation starship. Shuttle bay. When Obi-Wan exits the shuttle, he is met by an android who escorts him out of the shuttle bay. Interior, Federation ship. Quarter outside meeting room. An android escorts Obi-Wan down the corridor and towards the door. The door opens at their approach to reveal a meeting room. Please wait here, Ambassador. Oh, not you too. Interior, Federation ship, bridge. The android enters the bridge and approaches the Viceroy and his lieutenant. What did you say? The Ambassador is a Jedi Knight. I didn't know protocol droids were programmed to air quote. Oh yes, I am programmed with 6 million forms of non-verbal communication, including flipping the bird, both single and double finger variations, making the crazy gesture, miming walk against the wind, and doing the crotch chop. The android does a crotch chop at the lieutenant. There's something very wrong with an android doing that. If you two are quite done, there's the matter of the Jedi Knight claiming to be an ambassador from the Senate. Why do you think they sent a Jedi? I may be a lowly protocol droid, but I'd wager a month's supply of oil that he's here to chop you into itty-bitty Viceroy parts if you don't get your ass away from Naboo. In fact, if he has his way, your ass may very well be leaving Naboo without the rest of you. I must speak with Darth Sidious about this. Distract the Jedi for a while. Are you kidding? I'm not going in there with him. Send the droid. The android leaves the bridge. A hologram of a young woman, Palpatine's receptionist, appears on the communication console. Senator Palpatine's office. How may I direct your call? Ah, yes. I would like to speak to Darth Sidious. One moment, please. The hologram of the receptionist disappears. Interior, Coruscant, Palpatine's office. Senator Palpatine, the senator in his normal attire, is seated at his desk when his intercom beeps. Senator, there's a Viceroy of the Trade Federation, a Mr. Gunray, on line 1. He'd like to speak to Darth Sidious. Just a moment. Now, where did I leave my cloak? Palpatine sees his cloak hanging from the coat rack in the corner and gets up to retrieve it. He returns to his desk wearing it, becoming Darth Sidious, the senator as a Sith Lord. Put him through. Interior, Federation ship, bridge. On the communication console, a hologram of Sidious appears. I told you never to call me here. Sorry, my lord, but your plan has failed. The Chancellor has sent a Jedi assassin to force the end of the blockade. We dare not go against him. Viceroy, you can't see it right now, because I'm seated, but I'm making a rather rude gesture towards your lieutenant. Let's just say it involves my genitals. Is it a crotch chop, my lord? Yes, as a matter of fact it is. From now on, Viceroy, I don't want to see that slug within my sight. Also, I prefer to never see your lieutenant either. Now, kill the Jedi and start your invasion. Is that legal? Which? Murdering a Jedi or invading a sovereign planet? The second one. I'm just kind of assuming murder is still illegal. So, you're fine with murder, but balk at trespassing? Well, when you put it that way. I'll bog down the Senate so they won't be able to hassle you. Just hold up your end of the bargain. The hologram of Sidious disappears. Destroy the shuttle. Interior, Republic shuttle. A set of laser cannons drop from the ceiling outside the shuttle, visible through the cockpit window. Look out! Interior, Federation ship, shuttle bay. The cannons fire and the shuttle explodes. Interior, Federation ship, meeting room. Seated in the meeting room, Obi-Wan is befuddled, staring at the android sent to distract him. I'm a little teapot, short and stout. Here is my handle, here is my spout. You know, you could just serve me the tea. I really don't need the whole song and dance. I can't believe you managed to turn that into an opera. The room shakes. What was that? Sounded like the Viceroy's personal shuttle being destroyed. Interior, Federation ship, bridge. The Viceroy stares angrily at the weapons operator. Any chance you could get the Jedi shuttle this time instead of mine? Sorry. Interior, Federation ship, meeting room. The room shakes again. Okay, so what was that one then? Oh, that time it was your shuttle. Poison gas starts seeping into the room from the ventilation system. Obi-Wan takes a deep breath of clean air. Interior, Federation ship, bridge. He must be dead by now. Captain, destroy what's left. Interior, Federation ship, corridor outside the meeting room. A group of droid soldiers, including their droid captain and a droid corporal, is gathered outside the door. Yes, sir. The door opens. I'm a little teapot, short and stout. Corporal, check it out. Roger, Roger. How many times do I have to tell you? My name's not Roger. Sorry, Captain. The android leaves the meeting room, still carrying the tea. Here is my handle, here is my spout. Just after the android clears the door, the distinctive glow of a lightsaber is visible through the opaque mist of the poison gas. Uh-oh. The droid soldiers begin firing into the meeting room. but Obi-Wan deflects their laser blasts with his lightsaber. He emerges from the room and begins chopping all the soldiers into pieces. Once he's done, he walks up to the android. I never did get any of that tea. Well, it's poisoned, but if you really want some... No, that's okay. In a flash of his lightsaber is out, and the android is sliced in two. He proceeds towards the bridge, attacking any droid soldiers he encounters along the way. The pellet with the poisons in the flagon with the dragon. The vessel with the pestle has the brood that is true. Interior. Federation ship. Bridge. See? We won't survive this. Well, aren't you Mr. Positive today? Seal off the bridge. That won't be enough. Screw you! Interior. Federation ship. Corridor outside the bridge. Obi-Wan is slicing and dicing his way through the droid soldiers, destroying some by deflecting their laser blasts and knocking some of the ground with the Force. When he gets to the door, he starts cutting his way in with his lightsaber. While his lightsaber is otherwise engaged, he begins absorbing laser blasts in his other hand. Periodically, he knocks droid soldiers around using the Force. Interior. Federation ship. Bridge. How is this possible? Close the blast door! The internal blast door closes over the main door. Interior. Federation ship. Corridor outside the bridge. The external blast door closes over the main door. Obi-Wan withdraws his lightsaber and reinserts it in the middle of the circle he was cutting, using it not for cutting, but instead to melt through. Interior. Federation ship. Bridge. He's still coming! This is impossible! And it's strangely possible. Shut up! Get some destroyer droids up here. Interior. Federation ship. Corridor outside the bridge. Just before Obi-Wan can melt his way through, destroyer droids appear roll into view. They are too heavy to knock about and have too much firepower to absorb, so he's forced to remove his lightsaber from the door. He reflects some laser blasts back at them, but they have shields, so the blasts are harmlessly absorbed. Stalemate. Obi-Wan runs off in the blink of an eye. Interior. Federation ship. Bridge. See? He's no match for destroyer droids. Who's going to pay for that door? The Viceroy swats his lieutenant in the back of the head after that comment. Search the ship. I want that Jedi found. And I need a new personal shuttle. Sir, transmission from the planet. It is Queen Amidala. It's pronounced transmission. The image of Queen Padme Amidala Stitz, the Queen in regal attire, appears on the view screen. Ah, Queen Amidala. Nice tits. I didn't call to discuss my breasts, Viceroy. We can do that later. First, I've been informed that your blockade has ended. Really? I wasn't aware of such failure. It is my understanding that you've been commanded to reach a settlement by the Chancellor's ambassador. I don't know what you're talking about, Your Majesty. We have received no senatorial ambassador. He should be there already. When he does arrive, you will have no choice but to abandon your blockade. Your Majesty, you assume too much. And you know what happens when you assume, don't you? You invite someone to make that tired old ass out of you and me joke? Pretty much. Doodles! The Queen's image disappears. She really does have nice tits. Oh, yeah. Interior. Federation ship. Shuttle bay. Obi-Wan sneaks his way into the shuttle bay. The floor is littered with debris from 2 destroyed shuttles. A third, intact shuttle sits in the corner. It is being hand-washed by a single droid. Obi-Wan approaches the droid. Don't blow up my shuttle. Get me a new shuttle. Wash my shuttle. You can't use water from the waste disposal system to wash my shuttle. Stupid Viceroy. I'm taking my shuttle down to the planet. As he speaks, Obi-Wan makes the sweeping hand motion to indicate that he's using his Jedi mind trick. Every time Obi-Wan makes a gesture, the droid moves his head to follow Obi-Wan's hand and then looks back at it blankly. Each time, the droid waves back. Hello. This is the Viceroy shuttle. I am the Viceroy. Hello. No, you're not. Yes, I am. Hello. I may have never met the man, but I'm quite sure you aren't him. What makes you say that? Hello. Well, for one thing, he's not a Jedi. That's for sure. And would you mind not waving at me every sentence? I already said hello. I'm not waving at you. Hello. Yes, you are. You just did it a couple seconds ago. Please stop. It is so annoying. Now, where was I? Oh, yeah. The Viceroy isn't a Jedi. But you know who is a Jedi, don't you? The ambassador sent by the Chancellor to force a settlement, and who I'm supposed to kill on sight. Why did you air quote kill in sight? I was in a rhythm. Oh, and thanks for not waving at me. No problem. Instead of making the mind trick gesture, Obi-Wan takes out his lightsaber and slices the droid in two. Goodbye! Obi-Wan enters the shuttle and takes off, leaving the shuttle bay and heading for the planet. Interior. Federation ship. Bridge. Has anybody reported finding that Jedi yet? No, sir. But your new shuttle just departed for the planet, so I think I can make an educated guess as to where he ended up. Why does it always have to be my shuttle? Fine. Inform the troops to shoot down my shuttle on sight. Would you like me to get you a new one? Let's hold off on that until we absolutely need it, shall we? We only brought so many shuttles with us. Interior. Queen's Palace. Throne room. Day. The Queen and her advisors are gathered around the throne. In the middle of the group is a holographic image of Senator Palpatine. And you say there's been no sign of the ambassador. No. That's odd, because they should have arrived by now. No, I don't mean there's been no sign. I mean, no, I didn't just say that. You and I just started talking, and the first thing out of your mouth was that I said there's been no sign of the ambassador. Don't get me wrong. There has been no sign of the ambassador. It's just that I hadn't said it so yet. I have now, obviously. When you first said it, I hadn't. Palpatine stares blankly at Amidala for several seconds. I'm confused. Can we start again? Okay. Hello, Your Majesty. Nice tits. Thank you. I called because the ambassador that was supposed to force a settlement was supposed to have arrived on the Viceroy's ship by now, and the Viceroy claimed that he hasn't arrived yet. And there's been no sign of the ambassador. And you say there's been no sign of the ambassador. This time, Amidala pauses to stare at Palpatine. Wait. What? Why did you just ask me if I said what I said in the previous sentence? Oh, hang on. Palpatine reaches down and picks up a copy of the script. He uses his finger to trace the point he's reading from and silently mouths the words as he tries to find his place. He picks up a pen and starts making alterations. Are you reading our conversation from a script? Oh, what? This? No. I just jotted down some of the things I wanted to cover in this conversation so that I wouldn't forget them. I mean, sure, I had them typed up in screenplay form and rehearsed them a few times with my receptionist playing you. She's very good. Just to make sure that I got them right. But that's all. I, totally memorized it if that's what you're worried about. I wasn't still on book. You rehearse your conversations with me? Sometimes. Why? Well, you make me nervous, is all. You're like, so cute and all, and as a Sith Lord, I don't get to meet a lot of cute girls. Excuse me, what did he just say? It's very flattering, Senator. But you're like way old, and I'm just 15. But I'd like to be friends. Did he just say he's a Sith Lord? Yeah, just friends. Okay. Excuse me, Your Majesty. What is it? Did he just say that he's a Sith Lord? I'll check. Senator Palpatine, did you just say that you're a Sith Lord? I'm sorry, what'd you say? Did you just say, as a Sith Lord, I don't get to meet a lot of cute girls? No, as a senator, I don't get to meet a lot of cute girls. I'm a senator. Yeah, that sentence makes a lot more sense. Well, I agree it does make more sense. I don't agree that's what he said. I'm pretty sure he's a senator. Well, we all know he's a senator. What's news is he's also a Sith Lord. As a senator, I don't get to meet a lot of cute girls. Hello. As a senator, he doesn't get to meet a lot of cute girls. Well, I'm glad that's settled. The hologram of Palpatine begins to fizzle and then disappears entirely. A communications disruption can mean only one thing. We forgot to pay the phone bill? Okay, 2 things. Oh, it could be an electrical storm. Can somebody check the weather channel for me? 3 things. Maybe somebody crashed a speeder into the power generation plant responsible for supplying power to the central communications system. Okay, I admit it. It could be quite a lot of things. But in this specific instance, I'm convinced it's a prelude to an invasion. Why? Because since this scene started, the plot has ground to a halt, and I don't want to waste any more time trying to establish this information. Good call. Exterior. Naboo airspace. Day. A droid manned fighter comes into view behind the Viceroy appropriated shuttle piloted by Obi-Wan. The fighter is manned by a fighter pilot, a gunner, and a fighter captain, all droids. It begins getting into firing position. Gunner, target the engines. Roger, roger. Captain. Attention, all fighter craft. Weapons locked on, Captain. Be advised that the Viceroy shuttle has been commandeered by enemy forces. Fire! Lasers from the fighter destroy the shuttle's engines, causing it to go into immediate uncontrolled descent. If you encounter this craft, you are hereby ordered to destroy it. Nice shooting. Hey, what? What? Did we just get orders to shoot down the Viceroy shuttle? Yeah, that's what I heard. Didn't we just do that? Yeah. I remember it like it was yesterday. Only much more recent than that. But we fired on the shuttle before the order came through. So? Because it was only a minute or so ago, not a whole day or anything. Shut up! So, why were we shooting at the Viceroy shuttle if not to attack these so-called enemy forces? I never liked the Viceroy. Oh. Okay. Interior. Viceroy shuttle. Day. With the shuttle tumbling out of control towards the planet, Obi-Wan struggles to escape its confines by slicing open the door controls with his lightsaber, exiting the craft in flight and jumping clear. Exterior. Naboo Forest. Day. Obi-Wan projects his hands towards the ground and slows considerably as he falls until he is able to land with a forward roll and come to a standing position. In the distance, the sound of the android ground forces can be heard. Well, any landing you can walk away from might still end up in a fiery mass of twisted metal. Obi-Wan spins about, lightsaber in hand, and pointed towards the intruder. Anakin Skywalker, a boy in his mid-teens, raises his hands in a gesture of surrender. Hey, relax. No need to get all limb-severy. It was just a joke. Who are you and what are you doing here? Anakin Skywalker, Star Pilot Extraordinaire at your service. I noticed your shuttle going down, so I thought I'd check if there was anything worth salvaging. Which it looks like not. Nice flying, by the way. Although, technically, to be considered flying, you need to keep it off the ground. I got shot down by part of the invasion force. I need to get to the capital to protect Queen Amidala. You want to go to Theed to see the Queen? Being a Star Pilot Extraordinaire, I'm guessing you know to get there undetected. Of course. But it'll cost you. You won't do it to aid your ruler? Hey, I'm not from this backwater planet. I'm from a nearby backwater planet. So she's not my queen. So you're going to have to cough up if you want transport. Fine. But I don't have any currency on me. No problem. You'll owe it to me. I was going to say you have an honest face, but you really don't. Actually, you look like you have a fairly fluid relationship with the truth. But I'm going to trust you anyway. Besides, that queen chick has got to be loaded, right? My ship's this way. Anakin leads them a short ways through the forest before stopping in a tree. Removing a false covering from one side of the tree, he reaches in and activates the device. The ground of the clearing wavers, then disappears. Beneath the false ground is a sleek-looking starship. It's a cargo ship that's been kitted out for smuggling. Nice ship! Where'd you steal it? I didn't steal it. My uncle left it to me. I have no idea where he stole it. Won't it be a bit conspicuous flying into the capital in this? This isn't my first day on the job. I know my way around this planet better than those Trade Federation droids do. They climb down the ladder into the pit which houses Anakin's ship and enter the vessel. After the ship ascends out of the pit, the false ground shimmers back into existence. Anakin flies his ship above a small lake and then begins to descend into it. Interior. Anakin's freighter. Day. Don't tell me. It's a false lake. No, the lake is real. But it's more than it seems. It's one of the entryways into the Gungan system of underground canals. Who are the Gungans? The original inhabitants of Naboo. They are a race of amphibian warriors, but since the planet's colonization by humans, they now prefer to live mostly in their underwater cities. See those lights in the distance? That's their capital city. They don't like outsiders using their waterways, but they don't mind my doing so because as a smuggler, I'm often sticking it to the Naboo economy, so they tolerate my presence. You know, considering the amount of exposition I just spewed out, you should probably take note of this. Sounds like it'll be important for plot reasons. Noted. Exterior. Naboo. Theed River. Day. Anakin brings his starship out of the underground canal and into the river that runs alongside Theed. He keeps it submerged, but brings it to the edge of the city. Interior. Anakin's freighter. Day. Using sensors, he and Obi-Wan spy on the activity in the city. The droid army has completely overrun it. So, let me see if I got this straight. I've always wondered about this. You guys, the Jedi, are the defenders of the Galactic Republic, right? And you guys are closer to being a police force than anything else. I mean, you're no army, and you've got ships, but they're more like shuttles. So there's no star fleet to speak of. True. So what you're saying is that the Republic is guarded primarily on the honor system. The Jedi settle the odd dispute, but you could never fight a war since there aren't enough of you. Some systems have local armies like the Gungans and the Wookiees, and some have a few squadrons of short-range fighter craft like the Naboo, but nobody to fight a war for you. So what kind of wanker came up with that policy? You've got plenty of people like the Trade Federation and the Hutts on your borders that do have the means to wage a war. But what's worse than that, the Republic is antagonizing them with these new tax laws. I've seen some of these tax forms. They make me want to punch someone in the throat, and I don't even pay taxes. So you can imagine how annoying it must be for the Trade Federation. You can be defenseless or annoying, but not both. Are you through? And another thing. What's with this whole Queen of Naboo crap? I thought the Republic was a democracy. It is. Really, it is a democracy of planets, but each of the member worlds are themselves democracies. The Queen is an elected official. An elected Queen? Isn't that like an atheist pope? Hang on. Are you saying Queen Amidala was elected? You catch on fast. No, I don't mean that her position is elected. I mean Amidala herself. The entire human population of the planet was asked, who should be the queen? And they chose Padme Amidala Stitz? Yeah. What's wrong with her? Are you kidding? She's my age. She's like 15. Why would anyone in their right mind elect a teenager as the leader of their entire planet? I figured it was a hereditary position, so like the previous leader died young and Amidala was the only one left in her family line. But the planet picked her? On purpose? Sure. I'm guessing you've never seen her. What's that got to do with it? It's just that she's really cute. Plus, she's got quite the rack. What's that got to do with it? It's not the Miss Naboo pageant. It's an election for head of state. If you've seen her, then you'd understand. If I lived her, I'd totally vote for her. And if you wouldn't, I'd question your masculinity. So, what? Was that her campaign slogan? Pretty much. And that worked with the women too? Of course. It's really easy to question their masculinity. Anakin stares, bemused, at Obi-Wan for a moment. Is there any chance using the Force causes brain damage? Just curious. Just get this thing ashore so we can rescue her. You'll see soon enough. Exterior, Naboo, outside the palace. Day. The Viceroy, his lieutenant, and some escort droids escort the handmaiden, Sabe, dressed as the Queen, her advisor, and her handmaidens, including Padme, the Queen disguised as Sabe, from the palace. I insist you sign this treaty to legalize our occupation of Naboo. I insist you kiss my ass. You bear it and I'll share it. But enough flirting, Your Majesty. We can do that later. I know it would do no good to threaten your life. I don't know about that. Because then you wouldn't be alive to sign the treaty. Oh, good point. But I'd be happy to threaten the lives of your subjects. Not only that, I'm doing it right now. So sign the treaty or I'll start having your people killed. Start? Okay, I'll start having more of your people killed. I'll never sign your treaty. Take her to the prison camp to be processed. Roger, Roger. Viceroy. Isn't the palace the most easily defended place to keep the Queen? Especially with a Jedi lurking about somewhere out there, just waiting to dismember someone? It says here, right in the secret plan, The Viceroy's eyes go wide. You don't mind if I call you Pal, do you? Okay, but don't call me Pal. Because it sounds too much like it's almost saying, exactly, so Ixnay. Anyway, according to my secret plan, we have to send the Queen away from the palace to the prison camp. I just can't explain to you why we have to do that. Hence because it's a secret. Hence my secret plan. Gotcha. Anyway, once we've got that sorted away, then we can start killing people to make her talk. You like that part, don't you? Oh, very much. Okay, droids, take her away. Exterior, Naboo. Street with overpass. Day. Obi-Wan and Anakin watch from a hidden vantage point on a footbridge that overlooks the street where the droids are escorting the handmaiden et al. To the prison camp. Okay, you got me. If I lived here, I would totally vote for the hot jailbait. Even for head of state. I told you. Obi-Wan waits for the party to be close enough to the bridge and then leaps over the railing, lightsaber in hand. While still halfway over the railing, he shouts, "Now! Now what?" With Obi-Wan halfway to the ground. "Start shooting, asshole! So much for the element of surprise. Yeah, like I'm the one who yelled, 'Now!'" Just as Obi-Wan lands, Anakin opens fire with his blaster, picking off several of the droids. Obi-Wan slices apart the rest. Anakin uses the stairway to descend from the bridge. "I'm Obi-Wan Kenobi, and this is my friend, Anakin Skywalker. We're not actually friends. And we're here to rescue you. I'm just doing this to be paid. So we need to get you off the streets and back to Anakin's freighter. Provided that I get paid. You didn't bring any money with you from the palace. Just asking. We've got plenty of time to settle up later. There are more important issues. So, Obi-Wan, you're like what? Here to live my planet for me? You and which army exactly? I already covered that. That is to say, I'm here to rescue you, Queen Amidala. Works for me. And I know you'd like to stay and bravely face this adversity with your people. Why the hell would I want that? But the Federation could force you to sign a treaty unless we get you off the planet and to Coruscant, where you can plead your case in the Senate. Dude, let me take yes for an answer. You had me at, You had me at, what a hot piece of jailbait tale. That is, you had me at you being it, not saying it. Charming. That's something you might try being and not saying. Look, if you're planning on getting off the planet, sooner would probably be better than later. The Viceroy isn't the smartest being in the galaxy, but I'm guessing he might eventually figure out that his droids didn't get us to the prison camp. So if you'd like to get on with this rescue and get the Queen and her handmaiden Padme, can't forget Padme, to your ship, that would be super. Care to try again? Excuse me? Care to try again? You'd like us to get the Queen and whom to the ship? Her handmaiden Padme. Her handmaiden whom? Padme! What's wrong with you? The question is, what's wrong with you? You get that she's the Queen, right? You know, kind of famous around here. People might actually, I don't know, actually know her first name to hear it. So if you plan to disguise the Queen as her own handmaiden, shouldn't she go by the handmaiden's name? Hell, any name but her own first name would be a start. So you'd like to get us to get the Queen and whom to the ship? Oh, her handmaiden Sabe. Better. And I'll remain here in case the Federation need to coerce someone into sending you a message in an effort to trick you into responding so that they can track you. Whatever. Exterior, Naboo, near the Theed River. Day. Obi-Wan, Anakin, Padme, and Handmaiden hide behind some trees while spying on a party of battle droids gathered next to Anakin's freighter. Anakin approaches the droids. Hi there. Can I help you with something? Is this your ship? Why, yes it is. Is it stolen? Why do people keep asking me that? So, what are you doing here? Secretly escorting the Queen of Naboo off planet? And yourself? Stopping you? Good luck with that. Obi-Wan emerges from cover. You can go on about your business. Hello. Thanks, we will go on about our business. Hands up. Hands off. Moving like a blur, Obi-Wan's lightsaber is out chopping limbs before the droids can react. Uh-oh. Obi-Wan finishes the job by slicing them all into scrap metal. Let's go, ladies. They all enter the freighter. Interior. Anakin's freighter. Day. They all take their seats. Anakin makes preparations for liftoff. Do you seriously think you can get past the blockade in this? As opposed to the many previous times that I did? I'm a smuggler, you know. Fact is, I've been known to do the Kessel run in under 15 parsecs. A vessel on the Kessel has a hue that is blue. Quiet, you. Handmaiden stares at Anakin for a moment. Okay. I may be queen of some backwater planet, but that doesn't mean I'm an idiot. I know damn well that the Kessel Run line is something you say to rubes to see how ignorant they are. There is no Kessel Run, and even if it did exist, you'd be talking about how fast you did it, not how long it is. Obi-Wan laughs. Yeah, whatever. Strap yourselves in tight. Exterior, Naboo, above the Theed River, day. Anakin's freighter blasts off the surface. Once it is out in the open, he has to avoid several blasts from ground-based artillery. Exterior, space, Naboo orbit. Anakin's freighter is confronted by several blockade ships. Interior, Anakin's freighter. Hang on! Exterior, space, Naboo orbit. The freighter performs several intricate maneuvers to minimize blaster hits. It breaches the blockade with only minimal damage. Interior, Anakin's freighter. See? No problem. The ship shakes from a small explosion. Several warning lights begin flashing on the control console as an alarm begins sounding. Sure, no problem. I suppose that's the all-clear siren. They must have gotten a lucky shot in. The hyperdrive has sustained damage. We won't have enough power to get all the way to Coruscant. Is there anywhere else I can drop you? You could just pay me for my time thus far and maybe cancel it for someone else. Yeah, funny. How far can we make it without the hyperdrive? It's not a question of far. We can go all the way to Coruscant on the sublight drive. Great. Only it will take several years. Oh, just to get to the next star system. Is there something about interstellar travel at sublight speeds that confuses you? There's a reason these distances are measured in light years. Okay then, smartass. What do you suggest? Are there any Republic-friendly systems close enough that we can make it there with the hyperdrive in the state it's in and make repairs? Nope. Naboo is pretty much on the fringe. Around here, your choices are Trade Federation worlds and outlaw worlds, such as those controlled by the Hutts. What is the nearest non-Federation world? Yeah, a crappy, sparsely inhabited dust bowl place called Tatooine. It's a disgusting place that, in an ideal universe, you'd never have to venture even a single step on its surface. Unless, of course, if you're like us, and it's probably the last place the Federation would look, or unless, like me, you're from there. You're a Tatooine? I don't believe that's the official designation. Anyway, as luck would have it, my uncle, Watto, runs a salvage yard. I should be able to make repairs there. Is this the same uncle that left you this ship? Anakin stares at Obi-Wan for a moment in disbelief. How could a guy who left me a spaceship run a salvage yard? Are you sure using the Force doesn't cause brain damage? It takes one to know one. How does that make sense? You'll see. Whatever. So, are we all agreed on Tatooine? Okay. Works for me. I say we let him live. Let me guess. She got the decoy gig more for her bra size than her brain size? Plus, she does a good impression of my voice. That must be good at parties. And nothing else. Gotcha. Exterior, Tatooine. Outskirts, day. Anakin's freighter sets down near Watto's shop. Anakin, Obi-Wan, and Padme emerge from the ship. So I'll just stay here all alone and do nothing. Great. Gee, Sabe. Why don't you become a queen decoy? You get to see the galaxy, do interesting things. Yeah, good advice, Mom. Not that I'm bitter. All three head toward Watto's shop. On the street outside the shop, Klieg Lars waves to Anakin. Hey, Anakin, my boy. How's it going? Oh, hi, Uncle Klieg. Long time no see. Another uncle? Anakin shrugs in response. Interior, Watto's shop. Day. Entering the shop, they find Watto being threatened by bounty hunter Jango Fett. It's funny how people who don't pay their debts just seem to end up having accidents. If you know what I mean. And who knows? Someday I might just be talking to Jabba the Hutt and just accidentally blurt out where I remember last seeing you. Anakin draws his blaster to protect Watto. Obi-Wan takes out his lightsaber but doesn't turn it on. Is there something I can help you with, Uncle Jango? Another one? No, I'm just leaving, kid. But maybe you can make him see sense. Jango starts to leave. Nice rack. Thanks. Jango leaves. Moments after Jango departs, Shmi Skywalker enters the shop. Hi, Annie. Annie. I saw your freighter land, and I figured you must have been coming here. I mean, it's not like you'd ever drop by and see your mother. Oh, no. You need repairs done. Fine. You'll go to Watto's. But I guess the big shot freighter pilot doesn't have time to visit his old mother. I mean, don't even say hi or anything. You might try taking a breath, Mother. Then someone could get a word in edgewise and actually say hello. Hi, Mom, by the way. So what's up with Jango? It's just a gambling debt from pod racing. Speaking of, you could always... Never! Or not. So, are you going to introduce your friends? Mom? Uncle Watto? These are my passengers, Obi-Wan Kenobi and Sabe. This is my mom, Shmi Skywalker, and this is my uncle, Watto. Pleased to meet you. So, I get you air quoting me, but why are you air quoting Sabe? Interior, Anakin's freighter, day. Yep. Just sitting here alone, pretending to be the queen, wearing her clown makeup, and decoying no one. I'm sure this is doing a lot of good. Interior, Watto's shop, day. Or shouldn't I ask? You shouldn't ask. Tell you what, Annie. Annie! Oh, cut that out! You and Watto work on fixing your ship, and I'll take your friends up to the house so that they can relax. Sure. Thanks, Mom. Shmi leads Padme and Obi-Wan out of the shop through the back door and toward a nearby residence. Exterior, Tatooine, behind Watto's shop. Day. Excuse me, but I could ask you something about your son. What is it? He seems to be an impossibly talented pilot, able to react to things before they even happen. That's what Watto used to say back when he used to fly in the pod races. It was back then that Watto got a taste for gambling on those dangerous things, which is why he's in debt to the Hutts now. It probably hasn't escaped your notice that I'm a Jedi. I can sense it is exceedingly strong with the Force, probably as strong as anyone else within our order. If I may ask, who's his father? There was no father. Padme smirks and barely stifles outright laughter. Shmi and Obi-Wan glare at her. It's true. I carried him and I raised him. I cannot explain what happened. Oh, come on now. If I've heard that story, I've heard it 100 times. Oh, my queen. And by oh, my queen, you mean Queen Amidala, who this person was speaking to, as opposed to you, Sabe. Yeah, right. Because the way you phrase it the first time, it sounded like you were calling yourself Queen, and we know that isn't the case. Yeah, I got it. Just keeping things straight for everyone else. Anyway, oh, Queen Amidala. I don't know what happened, but I've never been with a man, but somehow I've become pregnant. Please. Once again, Shmi and Obi-Wan glare at her until she shuts up. Fine. In the Jedi Order, we have a prophecy of a chosen one, who will be born of the Force and one day bring balance to it. See? Uh-huh. And is the Force particularly unbalanced right now, Master Jedi? Not that I'm aware of. So it wouldn't make a whole lot of sense to have a chosen one right now, would it? I suppose not. See? Are you calling me a liar? Duh. You'd better be nice to me if you want to marry my son. So what you're saying is I don't have to worry about being nice to you at all. Interior. Auto shop. Day. It's really good to see you again, Anakin. You too, Uncle. Can I take it she's gambling again? Or making you gamble for her? It's not as bad as it's been. It's really just untimely loss or two when business was down. Django's actually been a sport about keeping Jabba off my back, but even he's getting a little impatient. Now, if we had a sure thing to bet on, mind you, we could probably wipe out the debt and even have a little left over. Say, to pay for the parts and labor to fix a certain someone's starship? Yeah, about that. This job will cover those nicely, but I need to get it done before I'm likely to see any cash. I was originally hoping you'd front me the parts so that I can get my passengers to the destination, get paid, and come back and pay you. I could even lend you the money to get Jabba off your back once I'm done. Besides, you know the Hutts would never let me race after the last time. And I promised her I wouldn't. We'll have to see how things go. Exterior, Tatooine, outskirts, day. Watto and Anakin have several external panels off the ship and are engaged in making repairs. There's something weird about this damage. How did you say it happened? I don't know exactly. I was flying evasion and took a few incidental hits. Soon afterwards there was an explosion and the hyperdrive was malfunctioning. I just don't see how those blasts could have fried the circuits this way. Just a sec. Watto gets up and opens the door. I want to check something inside. Watto enters the freighter. You shouldn't go in there. Oh, hello there, ma'am. Anakin follows him into the ship. Interior, Anakin's freighter, day. The handmaiden, in full queen regalia, is seated at the pilot station with her feet up on the console. Watto is still staring at her in surprise. Ah, I see you've met my other passenger. Uncle Watto? This is the Queen of Naboo, Padme Amidala Stitz. And your Majesty? This is my Uncle Watto. Again with the air quoting. Pleased to meet you, Your Majesty. You too. I guess this is another thing I shouldn't ask about, I take it? If you wouldn't mind. Now, what do you want to take a look at? Watto removes the floor paneling to get the engine room, which is more of a crawl space, and specifically the hyperdrive. Well, here's your problem. There's blast damage in here, alright, but it didn't come from external sources. It looks like someone planted an explosive in there. It's bloody droids! I knew they were up to something. They were waiting for us when we got back to the ship with the Queen and her handmaiden. They must have planted it in case we got past them. Or they let you get past them so the bomb would kill us instead of the droid soldiers, and that way they would claim it was an accident. Watto returns from the crawl space. They must have underestimated how many explosives needed to get the job done. Probably. There does seem to be a lot of underestimating going on around here. I mean, seriously, have you ever heard that word used so frequently your entire life? Oh, so-and-so is underestimating the power of this, and don't underestimate the power of that, and I don't know. I guess up to this point in my life, I've been seriously underestimating people's ability to shoehorn that word into conversation. Are you through? Pretty much. Well, so's your primary motivator. The rest of the damage is fixable, but the bomb was planted inside your motivator casing. It's not salvageable. They planted a bomb inside your sense of self-preservation? Funny. No, smartass. The hyperdrive motivator. Oh, and just for your information, my sense of greed is my primary motivator, which explains why I'm still helping you people. I still haven't been paid. Which you won't be if you can't get us off this shithole planet. Which means I need a new motivator, which I can't pay for unless I get paid. I can get you the motivator all right. That's no problem. But without the cash to pay for it, yeah, I gotcha. We're all a bunch of deadbeats, and some mark needs to pony up seed money to get this operation off the ground. Which pretty much means someone has to go to the huts. It can't be me. Me neither. They won't trust you, but they'd kill me. Which means we need someone fresh-faced and sincere, and whose career wouldn't be damaged by dealing with a bunch of gangsters. Perhaps someone who could handle themselves if things go wrong. Interior. Jabba's palace. Day. Obi-Wan stands before Jabba the Hutt, who is reclining in luxury and surrounded by his lackeys. I need a loan. Interior. Federation ship. Bridge. The Viceroy stands before his view screen as the image of Palpatine in his Sidious cloak appears. The lieutenant stands off to the side of the screen to avoid being seen by Sidious. I regret, my lord, that I must report the Queen of Naboo has escaped. The lieutenant starts trying to get the Viceroy's attention, but the Viceroy waves him off. That is most unfortunate. How could you have failed me in this manner, Viceroy? I cannot apologize enough, my lord, but they blasted their way past the blockade in a freighter. Well, this is most troubling news. The lieutenant can contain himself no longer. Spotting a chance to redeem himself, he speaks up. Then be troubled no longer, my lord, as I just received a report from the planet. Although I believe they were probably slaughtered by the Jedi, a squad of droid troops were able to plant an explosive in the engine of a freighter they ran across. What? Who told them to do that? No one, as far as I know. These latest batches of droid soldiers are getting increasingly autonomous. So you've destroyed the ship carrying the Queen to Coruscant? If it was the same ship, then yes. I'm told it was programmed to detonate as soon as they left Naboo's orbit. Bastards! You stupid, stupid bastards! My lord, don't my lord, me, you worm. How could she unseat? That is, how can she sign a treaty if you've killed her? Let me be perfectly clear, Viceroy. You're going to find that ship, and you're going to find it in one piece. And you're going to show my apprentice proof that it's in one piece before he kills you all. Is that understood? Yes, my lord. Sidious's image disappears from the screen. Interior, Coruscant. Palpatine's office. Continuous. Seated behind his desk, Sidious presses the intercom button. Send him in. Seems daft to guard him. Gladly, sir. He wants you to go in. The door opens and Darth Maul enters the office, still facing back toward the receptionist. When he's the guard. Yes, yes, very nice. Maul turns his attention to Sidious and closes the door behind him. Neat! Stop that! Sit down. Maul does as instructed. What is your bidding, my master? Okay, that's worse than the Python routine. Oh, go and get a glass of water. Now you're not even doing it right. Look, stop it. You're here for a reason. At last we'll have our revenge? Yeah, I don't know what you mean by that, but whatever. At least you're talking like a Sith now. So, here's the deal. Go meet up with the Trade Federation imbeciles. The plan only works if the Queen gets here to Coruscant. So either they make that happen, or you put your lightsaber through their heads. Got it? I shall accomplish this mission according to my own particular... Idiot! Actually, I think it's pronounced idioms. No, you're an idiot. Get out of here and stop quoting Monty Python. You're making us look bad. Hey, at least I don't read from a script when talking to girls. Out! Interior. Watto's shop. Day. Obi-Wan enters the shop. Everyone looks at him expectantly. He seems fine with it. Seriously? I mean, I know it was my plan and all, but even I didn't think he'd go for it. It didn't look promising originally, I must admit, but I must have been more persuasive than I thought, because Jabba eventually came around to my way of thinking, and I didn't have to mind trick him or anything. And by didn't have to, you mean you tried and it didn't work? Naturally. Speaking of which, Anakin, I'm supposed to say that Uncle Jabba says hello. Another one? Seriously? Just as long as you got the money, I don't care how you did it. Oh, I didn't get the money. Of course you didn't. We agreed you'd race for it. I don't want you racing. You mean unless you have a bet on it? Naturally. Don't any of you ever say what you mean? We can't all be as honest as you, my queen. Point taken. I don't get it. Of course you don't. And don't ask either. Gotcha. So, Jedi, you were explaining how you arranged with Jabba for me to race when the idea was specifically not to mention myself and Watto. Yeah, that was the idea, but things weren't going so well. So you thought throwing us under the land speeder was a good choice. See, that's the thing. It wasn't going well, and it even looked like I wasn't going to get out of there without getting all slicey and dicey when Django showed up. Suddenly they couldn't do enough for me. I mean, they insisted on the race thing instead of just giving me the money, but that's better than the alternative. Especially for him. Hey, can he be called worm food if he was already a worm? Food for thought. And not for worms. Yeah, thanks for the imagery. Let's just be ready for anything, because this all seems too suspicious. Interior. Federation ship. Bridge. The door to the bridge opens and Maul enters. He is accompanied by an android. But how do you know she's a witch? Yeah, okay. Very good, sir. Viceroy, this spiky gentleman says he had an appointment with you? Yes, thank you. Also, he inquired about the airspeed of something called an unladen swallow? Yes, don't worry about that. Thank you. You may leave. Welcome. You must be the apprentice to Darth Sidious. Listen, Alice. Herbert. Oh, I mean Viceroy. Stop it! If I went round saying I was Viceroy just because some moistened bit lobbed a scimitar at me, they'd put me away. Yes, very nice. So you've located the Queen. You don't vote for queens. Actually, they do, but that's neither here nor there. She's on the planet Tatooine. Are you suggesting coconuts migrate? Is this really necessary? Paideus Domine, dona eis requiem. Maul takes out his lightsaber and strikes himself in the forehead with it. Ah, I see that it is. So anyway, I got word from a contact on Tatooine that she's there, and he's arranged to help Speeder and her party on their way. So if there's nothing else... The Viceroy turns his back to Maul and starts walking away towards the Lieutenant. Bravely, bravely ran away. I never! Damn! Interior, Watto's shop. Evening. Everyone is returning to the shop. Pinned to Anakin's chest is a ribbon proclaiming first place. Although everyone is celebrating, Watto and Shmi seem more sober. They hang back, away from the others who are celebrating, to have a private conversation. That was far too easy. Yeah, the race was clearly fixed. Exactly. And I was still barely able to make a profit betting on him. So you have to wonder how Jabba was able to afford the money he paid Anakin, because he couldn't have made that much betting on that race. Should we share our concerns with them? Hell no! I'm tired of being the one who doesn't know things. Let's see how they like it. Watto and Shmi rejoin the group. Listen, Anakin. I'll get that part first thing, and I should have you on your way by midday. That way you can get the Queen to Coruscant in no time. You're not really sure which things you're not supposed to know, are you? No, not really. Interior. Federation ship. Bridge. Maul is walking around the bridge. A small quadrupedal robotic platform is next to him, and above it is the image of Sidious. Maul is weaving in and out and around the various consoles and stations on the bridge, and the robot is doing its best to keep up. That's good to hear, my apprentice. They appear to be back on track. I want you to travel to Tatooine and watch them closely, just to make sure there are no further delays. Just to watch them. Don't interfere. Oh, let me have a little bit of peril. What? I bet you're gay. Am not. Look, what do you want about now? Look, do I have to go through this every time? And why am I being projected on the robotic platform? You're making me motion sick. That's got to be the stupidest invention ever. And you're on the bridge. Couldn't you find a proper communication console? I can see an available one right behind you. Okay, look. You want some peril? Look, it's my duty as a Sith to sample as much peril as I can. Yes, whatever. Watch them, like I said, and make sure they leave. Make sure E doesn't leave. I'm not getting drawn into that. Make sure they leave, but last thing before they do, I want you to confront the Jedi. I don't want you to kill him, and I don't want you really stopping him. You killed 8 wedding guests and all. Shut up! Just delay him for a minute or two so that it doesn't seem too easy. I don't want them figuring out that we're helping him get to Coruscant. 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 She's only a model. Ah! You shut up! No, on second thought, Coruscant is a silly place. Just go, you spiky freak! We sit the round table, we dance whenever we're able. The image of Sidious begins to waver and disappear. And stop singing! The image of Sidious disappears completely. Exterior, Tatooine, outskirts, day. Everyone is assembled around the ship, and Watto is just finishing the installation of the new parts. That should do it. I said to do some pre-flight checks, but it should be fine. Thank you, Uncle. And it was nice seeing you. And nice to get a chance to visit with you, Mom. Well, next time I hope it doesn't take some galactic interstellar incident to get you back home to see your mom. I'll try, Mom. I mean, in the time between your visits, who knows what could happen? I could be captured by sand people, be forced into slavery, and have to spend my days turning a big wheel for no reason. I don't think that's very likely to happen, do you? Stranger things have happened. Name 3. Actually, don't. I don't think we have time for that. Bye, Mom. Goodbye, Anakin. Anakin and Shmi hug, and then Anakin and Watto shake hands. Shmi and Watto depart. Yeah, good luck with that, Mom. I can't get off this shithole planet fast enough. I may be from here, but I've got to admit I hate sand. It's coarse, irritating, and gets everywhere. I've got to admit that you're coarse and irritating. Hey, as long as it gets me everywhere. What does that even mean? So's your face. Witty. I hate to break this up, whatever it is, but what the hell is that? Angle on Maul as he is flying towards the ship in some kind of speeder bike. Angle back on the passengers. Anakin, you might want to hurry through the pre-flight checks. I don't know who that is, but I've got a bad feeling about this. Plus, spiky-headed dudes just weird me out. Angle on Maul as he continues on his speeder bike. Although instead of looking closer, it looks like he's back at the point where he was first noticed. Angle on the passengers. Okay, everyone aboard while I get these engines going. Obi-Wan, if he's hostile, you may have to hold him off for a little while. No problem. Seems like forever since I've had my lightsaber out. Obi-Wan gets ready for a fight, lightsaber in hand. As the passengers board the ship, every time the camera angles on Maul, he is returned to his starting point. Once everyone is inside, Anakin pokes his head out through the door. How is he doing that? The dark side of the Force is strong with him. It seems like the stupid is strong with him. Well, there is that. Angling back and forth a few times, with Maul continuing to return to his starting point, Obi-Wan is starting to look bored and frustrated. How much longer are we going to wait for this guy? I don't know. He really should have been here by now. Ah, screw it. Obi-Wan puts his lightsaber away and enters the craft, which then flies away. Maul finally arrives at the point they just departed, jumping off his speeder bike, ready for action. Aha! Ah, nuts. I drew it out too long and didn't get to perform any actions according to my particular, idiom? Yes, idiom. Idiot. Shut up! I could have you replaced with coconut, you know. Exterior, Coruscant, landing platform, day. The ship is landing as Palpatine is arriving to greet them. Accompanying him is Yoda, a short, elderly, frog-like creature who is head of the Jedi Order. He leans heavily on a cane that looks like to be made of driftwood. Anakin opens the door of the ship. Obi-Wan exits first, making sure there's no danger lurking. The handmaiden, in full queen regalia, is next. As she passes Anakin, she slips something discreetly into his hand and gives him a slight grin. He holds it up inquisitively and sees it as a room key. Padme notices it, seems displeased, and grabs it back from him. She shoots the handmaiden a dirty look. They have a terse discussion in harsh tones as they walk toward Palpatine, with the handmaiden seeming fairly pleased with herself. Handmaiden, and Palpatine depart. Anakin exits the ship and closes it up. He and Obi-Wan go to meet Yoda. You might be in there. Shut up. Hey, whatever. Obi-Wan and Anakin reach Yoda. They start walking toward the Jedi Temple. Master Yoda, I'd like to introduce you to Anakin Skywalker, a freighter pilot who helped me rescue the Queen from the Trade Federation's invasion force. Good to meet you, it is, young Skywalker. What? They don't teach grammar on your planet? Strong you are with the Force, but not strong with the manners and respect for your elders, are you? Yeah, I didn't follow any of that. Tell me, Obi-Wan, of your encounter with the creature you described. Strong was he with the dark side, you say. A Sith, I sense you are thinking. Sure. You know, Yoda, now that Anakin's brought it up, I didn't want to be rude, but talking with you would be so much easier if you learned proper grammar. That's what I'm saying. Yes, yes, mock me if you must. But more important, I think, is the news of this Dark Lord of the Sith. Troubled us for centuries, the Sith have not. Why return now, would they? I mean, you were many hundreds of years old, so I can see it being difficult. But you spent most of that on Coruscant. Just hire a speech therapist or something. Too distracted you are by my speech patterns. Clouds it, I foresee, your concentration on the matter at hand. Also, I think, your promotion prospects, no? Also, that cane does nothing for you. Oh, I know. And he doesn't need it. Not even a little bit. It's a total affectation. You should see him with his lightsaber jumping and flipping and bouncing off everything like I don't know what. But when he's done, it's right back to leaning on the cane like nothing happened. Classic! Why not just walk around normally then if he doesn't need it? I've always suspected it so he can perv on chicks, but if they get wise, he can act all grandfatherly and innocent. Right here, still, standing am I. Hear you I can. My feelings you are hurting. Sorry, Master Yoda. Yeah, sorry, Yoda dude. The Sith. Discuss them now, can we? You know, I think the only reason he's head of the Order is seniority. Seniority? Ah! Yep. His species is so long-lived that even though he's really just the kindergarten teacher, he's managed to reach the top of the ranks entirely but based on nutrition. Bastards you are! Know this you must. Insensitive bastards. Frankly, I think he does so well training with the younglings because they relate to him. Plus, he looks like a plush toy. Yoda begins storming away in anger, forgetting to rely on his cane for support. And he's not even using his lightsaber. Speaking of his lightsaber, Obi-Wan raises one pinky finger to imply small size. Little feet, little boots. And he doesn't even wear boots. Without looking back, Yoda takes out his lightsaber, turns it on, and holds it aimed back at Yoda and Anakin so it looks like he's giving them the finger. Obi and Anakin start laughing hysterically. Hall. Interior. Hall. Outside Senate Ambassadorial Chamber. Day. Anakin presses a button beside the door. A small robot emerges from a hole in the wall, scoots over in front of the door, and knocks on it a few times before returning to the hole. Well, that's practical. The door slides open to reveal Sabe in her normal garb. She smiles slightly. Hey, what's up? Oh, yeah, hey. Well, I just kind of got the sense that the Queen wanted to see me, so I thought maybe I should drop by. Oh, you did you? I suppose it was the Force that gave you the insight to come up with that? What? Oh, yeah, Force. Right. Well, that and the key she slipped me, so that you so rudely took back, I might add. Well, hey, come on in. Interior, Senate Ambassadorial Chamber, continuous. Anakin enters, and the door slides shut behind him. She's getting ready for that whole address the Senate to resolve the whole blockade/invasion thing that she's got to do, but I'm sure she can work in some time for you. Who is it, Sabe? It is Anakin Skywalker, my queen. Come to see you. Just a moment. Amidala, in full queen regalia, emerges from another room. Fuck off! Alrighty then. Amidala returns to the other room. Sabe makes a sweeping gesture to show Anakin out. He takes a hit and leaves. The door opens at his approach. Once he's just outside the door, Sabe gives Anakin a quick backhanded swat on the behind and closes the door, grinning to herself in satisfaction. Interior. Hall outside Senate Ambassadorial Chamber. Continuous. Anakin spins around in surprise, but is only greeted by a closed door. He also smiles, and then departs. Interior. Hall outside the Senate Chamber. Day. Anakin and Sabe are waiting, somewhat bored, outside the chamber. From time to time they exchange somewhat flirtatious glances. The door to the Senate chamber opens abruptly with Amidala, Palpatine, and Obi-Wan emerging. Amidala is obviously upset and angry. Obi-Wan seems angry as well, but less so. Palpatine is feigning anger, but can't fully conceal his self-satisfaction. Idiots! Things didn't go well, I take it? The Senate didn't agree to help? They'd love to help. Help themselves to Naboo's coffers, that is. If anything, they sided more with the Trade Federation than with us. That's government for you. Happy to take your taxes, but as soon as you need help fighting off an invading droid army, you're on your own. Actually, Anakin, you're mistaken. You see, there isn't an invasion, or at least not one the Senate acknowledges. You'd think they'd believe the evidence of the very person they sent on their behalf. I'm sure the Chancellor had every faith in you. It didn't appear that way. To chop off whatever body part of whatever person he sent you there to chop off of whom. Actually, that sentence kind of got away from me. What do you mean? Dude, you're a Jedi! The Chancellor is probably just pissed at you because the Viceroy head and body are still within hailing distance of each other. I'm getting pretty tired of being called a hired thug. Let's change jobs. Seriously, you know the difference between you and my Uncle Django? Nifty helmet, rocket backpack, and I haven't nailed your mom? Yet. No. And funny. The difference is, he doesn't pretend to be something he isn't. When he bashes skulls, breaks legs, or when he has to disintegrate people, he doesn't call it aggressive negotiation. So you really think the Chancellor really sent me there to murder the Viceroy of the Trade Federation? Yes! I'm going to have a word with the ex-Chancellor. Obi-Wan turns around and re-enters the Senate chamber. Wait, ex-Chancellor? When I saw we were getting nowhere, I called for a vote of non-confidence in his leadership. Which, I must say, Your Majesty, is a masterstroke. I am very proud of you. Yeah, whatever, Senator Kiss-Ass. Anyway, when he lost the vote, he almost cried. It was kind of funny. Almost made the whole thing worthwhile. Worthwhile? The blockade, the invasion, nearly getting blown up, escaping the blockade, having to get an insight into the home life of Skywalker over here. No offense. None taken. And finally getting here only to be called a liar to your face? That was worth it to see an old man upset that he lost his job? Well, I said almost, didn't I? Gee, Sabs, buzzkill much? Speaking of the old man, you don't think Obi-Wan has gone to aggressively negotiate with him, has he? I don't know. Let me use the Force. Let me see. I foresee that I don't give a crap. I'm still getting paid, right? If money is all you care about, and it is, then money is what you'll receive. So that's a yes, right? Yes! But I left my purse on Naboo. What can I say? I was in a rush. Well, the meter's still running, so let's get back there and get it. Suits me fine. This whole trip has been pointless so far. But what about the blockade? The invasion? Tell you what. You try to get yourself elected Chancellor. Palpatine quickly grabs a Palpatine for Chancellor button from his pocket and pins it onto Amidala's gown. Which you've obviously wanted all along. Subtle, by the way. And I'll return home to do something useful. Goodbye, Senator. Don't screw this up. You can count on me, Your Majesty. Wait. You can use the Force? Anakin just shrugs non-committally before turning and walking off with Amidala and Sabe. Exterior. Coruscant. Landing platform. Evening. Anakin, Padme, and Handmaiden are entering Anakin's ship as Obi-Wan arrives. Once again, Padme is dressed as Sabe, and Handmaiden is dressed as Queen. Is there room for one more? Sure, dude. More the merrier. So, what happened with the ex-Chancellor? Did you aggressively negotiate his head off? Well, see, the thing is... nah, forget it. I don't care. Fine. Do you have a plan? Shoot the Viceroy in the face? We're not shooting the Viceroy in the face. Fine, whatever. I'll just be shooting. If the Viceroy just happened to get his face in the way of my shooting, that's his own fault. Let's just get going. An extremely excitable Gungan named Jar Jar Binks arrives at the ship. We's a going home! No, Jar Jar! Before anyone can react, a surprised Obi-Wan has already whipped out his lightsaber and severed Jar Jar's head. Oh, wait, is he coming? Yes, you ass! Remember that underwater city I so conveniently pointed out when we first met? I can hardly forget. You made such a big deal about it, which seemed odd at the time, but in retrospect, I'm assuming will be useful? Right. Anyway, he's an exile from there. He is going to help negotiate for their help. Well, if he was an exile, why would they listen to him? Hey, good point. Fuck him then! You hear that, you annoying pile of crap? I said, fuck you! Anakin goes over and field goal kicks Jar Jar's severed head off the landing platform. Was that really necessary? You met him for half a second and you chopped his head off. I've known that guy for years. Trust me, your first impression was right on the money. Whatever. I just meant you don't know what that's going to hit on the way down. If you think a penny's bad, try walking around and suddenly being hit by a severed head. What's a penny? Doesn't matter. Let's just go. Anakin and Obi-Wan join Padme and Handmaiden in the ship. You see what I mean about the body part removal thing, though, right? Shut up! Interior, Coruscant, Palpatine's office. Palpatine is seated at his office. He presses a few buttons, and the image of Federation ship bridge appears with Maul, the Viceroy, and his lieutenant visible. Maul looks briefly startled. Oh! Wrong number, you say? With his eyes, Maul gives Palpatine a "What are you doing?" look and hits the button to terminate connection. Interior, Federation ship, bridge. Maul looks relieved as the Viceroy and the Lieutenant look baffled. Who was that? Wrong number. Kind of looked like Senator Palpatine. No, that was clearly not Senator Palpatine. Do you know Senator Palpatine? No. Of course not. So how do you know it wasn't him? Oh, that Senator Palpatine. Oh yeah, I know him. I mean, I know of him. We've never met or anything. But he's, like, famous and stuff. I know him to see him. Oh, okay. That makes sense. Hold on. You know a Senator Palpatine that you don't know? What? You said you didn't know Palpatine, and then you said, oh, that Palpatine, who you did at least know of. So that means there's a Senator Palpatine that you know of that you don't know of. It seems rather suspicious. Ah, well, the thing with that is... Ah, screw it. The person who just called was wrong number and not Senator Palpatine. Hi! The person who just called was a wrong number and not Senator Palpatine. Assholes. What? Nothing. Interior, Coruscant, Palpatine's office. As the communication from Maul fades out, Palpatine is briefly puzzled before noticing his Sidious cloak hanging on its hook. Son of a bitch! Palpatine gets up, puts on his cloak, and returns to his seat before re-establishing communications. Ah, my lord, did you just call here? No, that was a wrong number. How do you know it was a wrong number if it wasn't you? Well, you thought it was me, but it wasn't so. Look, don't make me mind trick you. Whatever. Did the Queen arrive? Yes, she's been and gone. She's returning to Naboo. That's great. We'll capture her when she tries to run the blockade. You'll do no such thing. Hey, didn't I tell you I never want to talk to you again? Sounds like something you'd say. Why aren't we going to capture her at the blockade, my lord? Well, for one thing, because there won't be a blockade. Wait, what? Are we supposed to surrender? We haven't achieved any of our goals. Why won't there be a blockade? Because I said so. Look, leave one droid control ship and withdraw the rest, including your ship. Take a shuttle down to the planet and coordinate the forces from the palace. I'm not going down the same shuttle as you. He told you to shut up. I'm just saying. Shut up! Why would we do this? Your plan makes no sense. The Queen's return to Naboo is unexpected. We must counter with something equally unexpected. Make sure they do as they're told. Yes, my master. Seems a bit daft, me guarding him when he's a guard. He's doing it again! Sidious shuts down the communication channel. Idiot. It's pronounced idiom. Interior. Anakin's freighter. Day. Anakin looks at the view screen in the freighter as it shows their approach to Naboo and a single ship left in orbit. Wasn't there a whole blockade thing going on here when we left? You know, that whole reason for why we're doing all this stuff? Yeah, I think something about a blockade might have come up. Well, it appears to have come and gone. Look. The other characters gather around the view screen. They can't have just gone home, can they? Maybe the rest of the ships were rentals and they had to get them back to avoid paying late fees. They are the Trade Federation, after all. They're bound to be mindful of incurring excess costs. Maybe now they've landed their invasion force, they either don't feel the need for a blockade, or they just decide to land the rest of their craft on Naboo to save on fuel costs. Whatever they're up to, it'll make getting down to Gunga City a lot easier. We sure will need to have to go through the Planet Core. Was that ever really an option? Not as far as I can see. And what's up with the silly voice? Seemed appropriate at the time. And in retrospect? Not so much. Exterior. Gunga City. Landing platform. The underwater Gunga City is a vast complex of interconnected force fields maintaining air pockets which house an array of buildings. The air is recycled by machines delivered to artificial gills that extract oxygen from the water in the lake. A security team meets the passengers at the landing platform and escorts them through the city toward the boss's chamber. Interior. Gunga City. Boss's chamber. The bosses are seated on elevated chairs overlooking the central well. In the middle, on the highest chair, is the leader of all Gungans, Boss Nass. Anakin, my boy, it's good to see you again. But why have you brought these outsiders with you? Why have you brought the Naboo to my city? I apologize, boss. But I don't know how much you've heard about what's happening on the surface. We know all about it. And we don't care. It's between the Naboo and the droids. What should we care about it? The handmaiden, still in queen regalia, steps forward. Boss Nass, I am Queen Amidala of the Naboo. I know who you are, and you probably know that we are a peaceful people. We have no army to defend ourselves. Well, whose fault is that? You know, if you people didn't insist on electing teenage girls to wield executive authority based primarily on their appearance, maybe you wouldn't have some kind of rainbows and unicorn society that can't defend itself. Did you ever think of that? I mean, come on. What kind of system is that? Padme steps forward, puts a hand on the handmaiden's shoulder to let her know she's taking over. Boss Nass, I am Queen Amidala of Naboo. Nass, Obi-Wan, and Anakin seem briefly confused, but a look of understanding crosses across Obi-Wan's face. Anakin is still confused, but becomes resolved and steps forward. Boss Nass, I am Queen Amidala of the Naboo. What? No, dude, that's not what we're doing. Did he just say he's Queen of Naboo? It's okay, boss. He's just confused. Step back, idiot. Okay, what's going on? I am the real Queen of Naboo. Sabe, who is dressed as my royal robes, is my handmaiden, bodyguard, and decoy. And him? He's just being an idiot. He thought we were doing something he probably saw in a movie. I don't know. Yeah, sorry about that. And just for the record, I am not the Queen of Naboo. Yeah, I don't think that needed saying. Is there any way you can help? I can convince you to help me, Boss Nass? Nass puts his hand to his chin and ponders for a moment before speaking. I want you down on your knees. Without a moment's hesitation, Padme goes down on one knee and bows her head in supplication. The others are about to kneel as well in support of the Queen. Doing it over there does me no good. The others remain standing. Padme looks up. Seriously, you can't do it from all the way across the room. I may be the big boss, but that might be stretching it, if you know what I mean. Oh, and I mean fellatio in case you don't know what I mean. You know, if you were planning to volunteer to be Queen Amidala of the Naboo, that'd be a good time. That's okay. I'm good. Asshole. Exterior, Naboo, outside the palace. Day. Lieutenant, Maul, and Android are waiting on the street outside the palace for the Viceroy, who is tiredly struggling down the street. In view are the shuttle the first three arrived in, and the scattered wreckage of several other shuttles. The Viceroy is startled when the shuttle that actually managed to get him to the ground, and is off in the distance, explodes without warning or reason. Finally, the palace at Theed. The palace at Theed? The palace at Theed. It's only a model. Shut up! Besides, it would probably be CGI. Or a matte painting at the very least. Yeah. On second thought, let's not go to Theed Palace. It's a silly place. Shut up! Help, help! I'm being repressed! I know he's doing a bit, but he does have a point. I'm not repressing him. Come see the violence inherent in the system. No, not that. Leaving a heavily fortified ship to just wait for the Queen to return to her castle, where you know she has the advantage of local knowledge. Bring out your dead! I must admit, Viceroy, I'm losing patience with Sidious and his Rube Goldberg machinations. Maul, with his hand on his lightsaber, gets in the face of the Viceroy. Bring out your dead. Then he turns and gets in the face of the lieutenant. Come see the violence inherent in the system. Before anyone can react, Maul's double lightsaber is on and whirling about like a tornado. The android is sliced into pieces like he's a loaf of bread. You know, I'm beginning to see the benefits of Sidious's plan. The thing about Rube Goldberg device is that it's complicated and interesting, and a well-designed one always gets to the goal in the end. I was thinking the same thing. Maul, Viceroy, and Lieutenant proceed up the steps of the palace. Exterior, Naboo, Theed River, day. The peaceful flow of the river Theed is disrupted by the emergence of amphibious assault vehicles, Gungan troops, and the rest of the Gungan forces. Boss Nass opens up the top of the vehicle from which he's leading the army to survey the troops. Although most every soldier is properly equipped with blasters, he notices one Gungan carrying a sling and dragging behind him a number of glowing blue balls in a sack. What are you doing with those? What do you mean? Do you see anyone else with stupid-ass weapons like that? Are you trying to make us look like idiots? Well, I just thought... what kind of self-respecting army would throw glowing balls with slings in a battle situation? Put those down and get a proper blaster rifle like everyone else. Yes, boss. Asshole. Interior, Naboo hangar, day. Anakin, Obi-Wan, and Padme sneak into the hangar. There are a number of pilots and other security volunteers being held here by battle droids. Obi-Wan approaches the lead droid. You will release these men. The lead droid is about to wave, but is interrupted. And women! What? And women! We clearly have both men and women in our security forces. Is this the time? It's always time for gender equality. Whatever. You'll release these men and women. Again, the lead droid is about to wave, but is interrupted. Or you could just say people. Shut up! Who's queen anyway? Instead of repeating his mind trick command, he looks at the lead droid, gestures to him, and indicates that it's time to respond to the mind trick. Oh, so it's my turn now? Yes. Finally. The lead droid waves hello. Hi. I don't know if you get it, but mind tricks don't work on droids. Seriously. Fair enough. Obi-Wan's lightsaber is immediately in his hand, and he's slicing through the lead droid. The other droids fire at him, but he handily blocks their attacks back at them, and soon all the battle droids are destroyed. Padme emerges from hiding. Pilots, to your ships. We need to knock out the control ship. It shouldn't be hard to find it. It's the only one still up there. Security volunteers, come with us to the palace. The pilots scramble into the available ships as the security volunteers grab the weapons from the non-functioning droids. The pilots take off into the sky. There are still several ships left over. Good thing they kept their pilots right next to their ships. I know. That really saved us a bunch of time. Let's go! As they approach the door that leads towards the palace, it opens by itself to reveal Maul standing there, looking menacing. None shall pass. I'll handle this. Yeah, good luck with that. Obi-Wan proceeds forward to engage Maul in battle. The door is closed behind him. We'll have to go the long route. A number of destroyer droids enter from the hangar door side, pinning the Naboo forces down along the wall with blaster fire. The security volunteers fire back, but their hand blasters are no match for the destroyer shields. Thinking quickly, Anakin is able to jump into the cockpit of his ship and use its stronger weaponry to destroy the destroyer droids. Who's the man? Please, 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 never say that again. Are you coming or are you just going to hide in that ship all day? Neither. I got me a date with the control ship. Fine. Whatever. Okay, the rest of us to the palace. Exterior. Naboo. Outskirts of Thebe. Day. The Gungan and droid armies face off against each other. Both have shield generators, so long-range assaults are ineffective on both sides. The combatants themselves can pass through the shields, so they have to fight using ground forces to try to infiltrate the other position, trying to knock out their shields. Exterior. Space. Near droid control ship. As Anakin approaches the droid ship, battle is already underway. Control ship has released fighters for ship-to-ship dogfighting against the Naboo pilots. The droid ship, too, is heavily shielded and immune to fire from the Naboo ships. Once he joins the fray, Anakin is able to distinguish himself with his flight and combat skills. Exterior. Naboo. Outside the palace. Day. The security volunteers approach the palace. Padme discreetly has a word with one of the volunteers, and they split the force in two, with the other force going around to the opposite side of the building, while Padme breaks out a bag of equipment which she's been carrying, which consists of ascension guns, which are guns with grappling hooks and lines and winches. They fire the guns simultaneously and use them to ascend to an upper floor lounge and enter through a window. Interior. Naboo. Power station. Obi-Wan and Maul are preparing to fight in the impossibly large Naboo power station. It consists primarily of a set of bridges over various completely unnecessary chasms. There are flashing lights and other weird cycling force fields that make it more like a video game than a functioning power station. None shall pass. Seriously? None shall pass. I mean, that's what he's going with. None shall pass. None shall pass. You know that doesn't end well for you, right? What do you mean? Well, you're casting yourself as the Black Knight. Yeah? He's a badass. Fine. Granted. But if you're the Black Knight, then that must make me Arthur, I suppose. So then, why would you want to be the Black Knight? Arthur chops all his limbs off. I mean, sure, it's pretty badass that a head and torso is able to call for a draw and then go on to continue threatening Arthur as he calmly walks past him. Yeah, I love that scene. Apparently. And hey, if you think about it, we probably have the technology that a guy who's had all his limbs removed could probably have them replaced with robotic ones. Ooh, that would be kind of cool. I could be even taller if I wanted. That'd be sweet. Sure, whatever you want. But you'd still lose the fight. It'd be a draw. Whatever gets you through the night. But I still get to go right on past you and help the Queen defeat your bosses. What? You just run away? You lily-livered. So I don't exactly get what is the point of any of this. I mean, it seems to be far too complicated to achieve anything practical. But I'm guessing whoever's in charge isn't going to take too kindly to your failure. You may have a point. So, can we just skip all this Black Knight scene nonsense and just get on with it? Let me think about it. Before ye cross the bridge of death, ye must answer me these questions 3. Ere the other side ye see. You know, there are other Monty Python movies. Interior. Naboo. Thebe Palace outside throne room. Padme and her security volunteers are fighting a pitched battle with the battle droids that were left behind to guard the palace. They are doing an admirable job until droid reinforcements arrive and outflank them. They are forced to drop their weapons and surrender. The droid guard leader steps forward. Take them into the throne room. Roger, Roger. Who's this Roger? My name's Philip. Roger, Philip. Exterior. Naboo. Outskirts of Thebe. Day. The battle begins to go against the Gungans. Their shield generator is destroyed, and the full force of the droid army begins to come into play. The Gungans continue to fight on defiantly. Droid tanks begin to emerge from the protection of the shield under cover of the artillery. From out of nowhere, one of the droid tanks is destroyed when it's hit by a glowing blue sphere that explodes on contact. Nass looks around and finds the Gungan with the sling. See? I told you. One of the other droid tanks gets a bead on the Gungan and blasts his stack of blue spheres, detonating them all and completely immolating him. Can't say I didn't warn you. Exterior, space near droid control ship. The two groups of fighters continue to battle. The Trade Federation side is gaining the advantage of closer supply lines that can refuel and get reinforcements from the droid control ship. Anakin notices one of the Federation ships going in for refueling, follows them in towards the control ship's landing bay. He destroys the enemy fighter just before it reaches the landing bay and flies his fighter through the cloud of wreckage, somehow avoiding the debris, and into the landing bay. Exterior, Naboo, outskirts of Theed, day. The battle has gone completely against the Gungans, and they are forced to surrender to the droid army. Interior, Naboo, Theed Palace throne room. Padme and her security volunteers are escorted into the throne room. She is brought before the Viceroy. Now, Queen, you will be forced to sign the treaty. What are you going to do? Shoot me? Probably. Anybody got a pen? A number of droid guards start falling to blaster fire. From outside the hallway, Handmaiden, dressed as the Queen, is leading the rest of the security volunteers against the droids. You have captured the wrong one! She's a decoy! With the distraction, Padme is able to retrieve weapons from a compartment in the throne. Also visible are sex toys and Jedi porn. She tosses one of the guns to a security volunteer while aiming the other one at the Viceroy's head. The security volunteer aims at the lieutenant. It seems I won't be signing any treaties with you, Viceroy. Exterior, space near droid control ship. The droid control ship starts exploding from the inside out. Anakin emerges from the landing bay just as the whole thing blows up. Yippee-ki-yay, motherfuckers! Without the control ship and the supply line, the Naboo fighters are able to easily dispatch the rest of the Federation fighters. Exterior, Naboo, outskirts of Theed, day. All the droids that were fighting and capturing the Gundams suddenly deactivate and slouch over. Interior, Naboo, Theed Palace control room. Padme puts her gun right to the Viceroy's temple. Now, have your droids. All the droid guards deactivate. Well, that was kind of anticlimactic. Who puts a single point of failure into an invasion force? I hear you, sister. Shut up! Exterior, Naboo, Palace Courtyard. Night. Celebrations of victory are in full swing. There's music and fireworks and a huge assembly of guests. In the background, a ship lands. Palpatine and Yoda exit the craft as the Viceroy and his lieutenant are led aboard in handcuffs by some security volunteers. On Palpatine's outfit are a pair of pins, one reading, Palpatine, yes we can, and the other reads, Palpatine, yes we did. Palpatine and Yoda join several other dignitaries on a stage which includes Amidala, Sabe, and a number of assorted bureaucrats. Nass and Anakin make an entrance and also go on stage to thunderous applause. They stand before Amidala. First, Amidala takes a gold medallion and puts it around Anakin's neck. She gives him a hug and a kiss on the cheek. He then rubs his fingers together doing the money gesture. Amidala sighs, turns to Sabe, and points to her purse, which Sabe then dutifully passes to her queen. She hands Anakin a large amount of currency, and he nods his head in thanks before leaving. As he walks away, she gives him a quick swat in the behind. He turns around, surprised, then smiles. However, that smile turns to a look of confusion, as he can't tell if it was Amidala or the handmaiden. Sabe brings forth some kind of weird glowing ball that he hands to Amidala, who then presents it to Nass. Nass holds it up triumphantly. Anakin makes his way over to Palpatine and Yoda. Congratulations. I will observe your career with interest. Dude, you are so fucking creepy. Leave me alone. Sorry. Master Obi-Wan. Seen him? I have not. Know, do you, his whereabouts? It looks like Anakin is about to break into laughter. Mock me not, fuckhole! Anakin puts his hand up in an I surrender gesture. Much to discuss with him, I have. No idea. Now that you mention it, I haven't seen hide nor hair of him since we encountered that dude with the spiky head. They probably just chopped each other's heads off. Both Yoda and Palpatine seem concerned for their friends. Interior, Naboo, power station. Obi-Wan and Maul are seated on the edge of one of the bridges with their feet dangling into the abyss below them. So the host's wife comes in and says, "It's a Mr. Grimm. He says he's a Reaper." Maul laughs. Suddenly, his ears perk up. Hey, what's that sound? Do I hear music? Obi-Wan pauses to listen too. Hey, you're right. Somebody must have won or something. Oh, that's cool. Wait! We forgot to have a lightsaber duel!